Hey guys, welcome back. Sweet Hot Rods and Honey, Daryl here. And today we're going to try to get something accomplished on this truck. We've got a list of several things to do before it gets completed, and then plus some which I haven't even thought about. But anyway, today I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we've been doing on the interior. We've got side panels made for the doors. The headliner and side headliner are not fully complete, but they're getting closer. And I've got one problem with the fabric that I'm using on the side door panels. I've got a little bit of a wrinkle problem, but so I'll show you that, and we're going to do some carpeting. So stay with me. So we started putting in this carpeting. I got this from, I guess it's OC Carpets, and it comes in two pieces. There's a front section, and then I'm cutting and gonna fit the rear section. So we're gonna join at this point, which is still underneath the seat, and go back to the bottom of the back of the cab. So we're gonna mess around with all that stuff over there. And also with this kit, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm going to use it because of this, the way the contour is on the floor of the cab. I guess they made it just so that you can fold this, and it could be more, fit more vehicles than just this Ford truck. But I think what I'm going to have to end up doing is building a console underneath the dash to the floor, and maybe I'll mount some cup holders and the radio there. But because that cutout, it is forcing me to make something there to, put on top of it and hide it. Also, at the top of the piece that we bought from OC Carpets, it ended right here. So I'm adding some carpet. I don't know if you can see it because of the lighting. I added more section of gray carpeting that I had from another project, and I'm going to put that up in here, and that will fully enclose the floor and firewall on the interior. We still have to put in the kick panels, and that'll be after we finish up this part of the floor. And also, we still have to get to the hood mount holes here, or the hinges, and so we can't put those side panels on quite yet. But yeah, so the door side panels, I think they turned out nice, with the exception of one thing. This fabric is kind of thin, and it's mounted on a closed cell foam for marine grade, and so it's not going to absorb water. But the problem is, and you can probably see, it wrinkles up because the door panel kind of is slightly concave. So on this one, I did not stretch that cloth, and I think that's what it needs. Or when I glued that cloth onto that rubber to the foam, I should have made the foam concave at the time that I apply the cloth onto it. So then when it flattens out, it'll stretch it from each edge, and so it would stay taut. But right now it's not. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly. I've tried to put a piece of like a cloth over top of that and use the hot steam iron, but it's still not shrinking that fabric up enough to take the wrinkles out. Now up on this upper panel, this is not bad. There's some small wrinkles, and the same goes there. I should have made it more curved when I glued on the fabric. And here's the fabric that I used. I don't know what the material is exactly, but it's It's pretty thin stuff, and it's like a suede. I really like it, and I want to make this work, but I may have to go buy some more fabric, pull this off, and then re-glue. So, that's what's going on there. And I didn't put the driver's door panel on yet because I've got to do some work of straightening out the hinge on that side. It kind of got tweaked, so it's rubbing at the top edge on the gutter, which is not good. So that's we got to take care of that. Let me show you the headliner piece, and there's two sideline pieces that go from the side of the back window up around, and that edge right there, and then the rest of the headliner is flat, more or less, and then with a slight curve. So I haven't glued that on yet. I'm going to try to stretch or bend the headliner. It's I think it's PVC with the closed cell foam on it. It's a 1/4 inch foam. So we'll try to glue that. I don't want to waste the material if it doesn't work. And there's an alternative that I thought about to fix the problem, but I'm not sure I want to do that quite yet. Here's the large headliner piece, and I just have the fabric laying on top of it. But this is a plastic, and this is all factory made, so this is old stuff. We cleaned it up, and then I glued on this closed cell foam, and so the foam is nice and flat. But I think what I might do is, again, try to make the panel curved while I have while I'm gluing this piece of fabric on it, and then hopefully that will, when it flexes back out to its normal shape, it may stretch the material enough to be taut. But if that doesn't work, what I'm most likely going to do is use this gray carpet that I purchased, and I was going to use this carpet for actually the floor, but I bought that kit instead. So this is a nice thick carpet, and if you glue it onto that material or onto that plastic and it flexes, you're not going to see the bubbles and the rippling. What I was thinking of doing with this carpet was use it on the back of the cab, and I still may be doing that, but I'm not sure I'm going to have enough to do the headliner as well as the back of the cab. We'll see. I'll see what happens with this headliner first. And here are the pieces of parts of the small pieces of headliner. This wraps to the side of the window, and then this piece goes kind of alongside your head. So these should be easy to flex. They're going to flex when they're in the truck anyway, but these are going to be easy to deal with when I glue on this fabric. And again, it's the original plastic headliner with cleaned up, and I glued on this closed cell foam. So that's the quandary that I'm in. I don't really want to mess these up, and I want the material to be taut when it's in place. I got the battery box out and other bolts. I marked where the bottom of the seat will bolt on, front and back, and on the other side too. So we cut this carpet to be at its maximum length from kind of a little bit of an overlap here back to the back edge, and that's the longest point. So as we go around this contour edge, we'll have to trim that. And then on the back panel, that back panel will just rest on top of the carpet. I don't know if that's going to be Lawan plywood or if it's going to be PVC plastic, but in any event, it's going to go on top of these ribs. there's no rib on the bottom, but there's a rib in the middle section. And then we'll have to get our seat belts buckled in. And so let's get this carpet in. This shouldn't be too bad. I've got a trim around the bottom of the around the fuse box, but that's fine. That's going to be hidden. I'm going to be putting a box over top of that menagerie of wires anyway to hide it. So we cut this longer. And we'll probably have to trim off some of the sides at the doors because it's just a bit long. All right, let's get this thing in here. So we're going to overlap. The front will overlap on top of the back piece. You want to make sure that these sides, that you're not too short on each of the sides at the passenger and the driver's door. All right, so I'm going to make my cut so that for the main power cable, I'm going to make the cut so it lies underneath the battery box, so it'll be hidden. And we just want to cut a little circle here. Careful not to cut wires. These speaker wires, I've got them wired up to the front, to the kick panels where the speakers are. And if I put in a console, which I think I'm going to do, the radio is going to go up into that console. So shouldn't have a tough time fishing these speaker wires back up there. But you never can tell. And I have a block right here with all ignition wires. I'm going to expose that so it doesn't get covered up. Sort of good. All right, now this second fuse box, we need access to that, so we'll cut that out too. Very gently, so we don't cut wires. Not too bad. I've got a bundle of unused wires under here, and I hate to cut them off, but I shouldn't. I should bring them out here above the carpet line, so we don't have a heat problem and start a fire. For now, they're going to stay here, though. Since we're just roughing this carpet in. Can't get the right angle on this. Okay. It's not looking too bad. I may not have to trim off these corners anyway, because I can tuck this in. The foot is going to hold this down right here, and our the seat belt is going to get mounted closer to the corner, so that kind of keeps this little corner here tucked in. And the same for the driver's side. So I think that's going to work out okay. All right, let's have a look. Well, with this carpet in the way, can't really get to the fuse easily. Unless, if I've got to get to the fuse box, pull that down, or maybe I can cut just slices here, fold this back so I can get this cover back on. Or maybe I don't even need the cover. But I do have the fuses and relays labeled. I don't know if you can see that, but each one is labeled. So I better keep this on here. All right, I'm gonna. Oh. Now the trick is to put the battery box back on. I've got to find these mounting holes. And there's one. I'll stick an awl up from the bottom up through the carpet to locate it, and then get a soldering iron and burn a hole through the carpet. That'll cauterize and seal off the carpet from fraying, and then we can put our battery box back in. And then the same for these seats. They will. There's a bolt right here. I kept the bolts in for these. I winded it out a little bit so it's much easier to find. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So we have our little soldering iron located. I'm going to work my way from the front back to ensure that the overlap between the front and the back carpet is good. So we've got this front bolt that's kind of elevated and helps me find to locate it. So this carpet melts pretty easily. Be careful not to put your soldering iron somewhere on the carpet that you don't want it to burn through. Believe me, I've done that in the past. All right, so I'm just going to put these in to hold this carpet steady. And shift. All right, that's one. And just double check here. The side to side so that you don't come up short on one side or the other. It's going to get a piece of trim here anyway, like a angle, aluminum angle iron to cover that edge up anyway, so it's not that critical. All right, now this one is a little tougher to see. Since this bolt wants to drop lower, kind of flush to the floor. All right, that's good there. We have a nice overlap. we've got our longer bolts in here, so we're good for the seat mounts. Now, gotta get these holes located for our battery. Since the battery box is going to cover it, it doesn't have to be terribly beautiful, but let's just try anyway to get a sound strip. Just mix that. So carpet's in. This little flap back here at the fuse box didn't turn out as nice as I thought it would, but again, this is going to get a cover over top of it, or at least this fuse box is going to get a cover since this is all protected. But it would be nice to have a cover just to have it cleaned up. Battery box is in, hooked up. I just set in these kick panels, and I think they're gonna look fine. I gotta work on getting this door panel fixed, and we'll see what I can try to do with that. So I have some encouraging news about these panels that I glued the fabric on to that closed cell foam. I've seen some guys that use, when they install carpets, they steam heat the carpet, and it contours and shrinks, and it will, fit into the curve or whatever space it is. Well, I thought I'd give this a try, and I tried just heating it with steam, but that didn't do anything. And the other thing I tried is using an iron with less steam, and I think it actually works pretty well. I've gone over this panel a couple times with high heat and steam, and I believe the ripples that were obviously there really are flat and smooth. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let me show you real close how good this actually looks. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but when you touch it, it's I do not feel any ripples. I don't see any ripples. So we're gonna go with this. So I'm gonna take the iron and a cloth so we don't really scorch the fabric, and go over those panels that I already installed. And if it doesn't work quite right, I'll have to pull the panels off and do it, on a flat surface. So I think I'm pretty happy about that. Well, I think that'll do it for now. We're going to continue in another video with the headliner and the back panel of the cab. So stay tuned for that at a few days. But I'm happy that we got those ripples straightened out a little bit on those panels. So we're going to continue to iron those other panels that still have that problem. And I'm glad that we got a couple things checked off the checklist. So we're getting there. So I wanted to thank you for staying tuned and supporting the channel. Appreciate it very much. And Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye.